welcome to the back nine of round 4 of the Beaver State Fling. If you tuned in for the front 9, you saw it's just getting good, so we'll see how it's going to finish up. I'm Paige Pierce.
And I'm Madison Walker, and we want to say thank you to the PDGA and to Dynamic Disc for providing the help we need to get this filmed.
And of course to the Jomez crew for busting their tails out there all weekend and filming us. This is hole 10. Super pretty green. You're kind of, the tee shot's almost a little bit boring, just wide open, and then you get into this gap.
I actually think this is one of my favorite holes on the course.
Really?
Yeah, nice. I really like that. I mean, it's short, but you still have to play smart, and there's definitely some trouble you can get in on the right-hand side if you flip your drive over.
Is it because it's hole 10?
No, I didn't even realize.
Catrina going with the wide hyzer route. That's actually the route I prefer as well. If you skip forward, you could skip into that gap.
I was having an issue. I kept accidentally landing too far forward. Like I would throw my drive too far, but be a little bit right, so I wouldn't even have a look at the green. I'd have to throw like a roller or a skippy forehand to get to the green. It's best to just throw almost like a mid-range up the middle, I think, is a great play.
Looking for a left skip here. Don't really get anything.
That's where I landed.
It's fine, honestly, anywhere you land, kind of, as long as you can get in that gap with the low ceiling and get yourself a putt.
Even with on a standstill, Hokom's still using her whole body.
Mm-hmm.
The body language. Oh no.
That's all right.
Yeah,
She's
it could have been worse. Yeah, this green does slope down a little bit. You can get a brutal roll, but the wood chips actually help kind of everything grab on a little bit more.
Catrina with a great approach. Stand still behind the back.
Looks like there's almost a little wind in there. It's so weird, being such a protected green. See the flag whipping at all?
Yeah.
No, it's not. Pretty routine threes from these ladies. This is one of the prettiest greens. There's lots of pretty mossy trees behind the basket, and there's a little sunlight peeking through.
Absolutely.
Very magical.
So with all those threes, it's still going to be Val and Catrina tied up, and Hokom just behind them.
And we are entering into the back corner of the course. I think it's 2 of the harder holes. It's this first one is definitely a score separator. Anything could really happen here with all of the obstacles. The second one's a little bit more open, but you can still get into some trouble with how narrow the fairway is. So we'll see what's going to happen.
Basically, who can stay out of trouble coming down this final stretch? We got 7 holes left and a tight race for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So
this was the muddiest tee pad
absolutely
of the whole day.
Wow.
It was
had
insane.
A pretty big backup on this hole too.
Yeah, it was boggy and backed up.
Kind of just chilling in the mud.
Yeah, you had to kind of tiptoe around to the tee pad. It surprisingly didn't make it too slippery. I still had some good grip on there. Didn't really have to deal with slippery tee pads too bad.
Hokom goes sidearm out of the gap into that tall grass. It's not bad, honestly. Anywhere that you can see the basket is good.
Yeah, you just don't want to be tucked left. I think the sidearm route, if you're not comfortable with peering your backhand out like Catrina just did, I think sidearm off the tee pad is a great route. Gives you a nice, easy look for a approach for 3.
Yeah, Nate Sexton said that's the way to play it, but he's kind of soft, so I would go whatever he says, the opposite.
Yeah.
Val with her thrasher again, great hyzer.
Yeah, I don't like to take Nate's advice, but I did take it on the forehand on this gap, and for the first time, it worked.
I didn't put that one quite wide enough. It hit the tree and just kind of kicked me straight down in the middle of all that, so I'm going to have a tester upshot as opposed to Val and Catrina, who threw great drives.
This green, I think we said in the video before, it's very protected. There's lots of guardian trees and ferns when you're trying to reach the basket. Anything can really happen up there. It's kind of a throw and hope kind of a shot, but as long as you don't mind obstructed putts, you'll pretty much always get a putt.
I think putting like that's kind of fun.
I do too. The only thing, my pet peeve is when they have OB inside the circle around the basket. I think that's awful. But I like obstacle putts.
Yeah, you honestly don't see too much out of bounds at Milo, which is one of the reasons it's one of my favorite courses.
It has out of bounds without it being a stroke, if that makes sense. If you go into the rough, you're going to be getting a stroke, but you know, I guess you could call it artificial out of bounds.
Yeah. Lots of tricky putts out at Milo. Lots of low ceilings. And lots of tap-ins.
Boring.
And now we are on to hole 12. Hokom card's a bogey there, so she falls one more behind Val and Catrina. She's gonna want to get that back, or they're gonna start running away with second and third place battle. This hole is so pretty, dead straight. Anything left you're not happy with, anything right you're not happy with, and the basket finishes on a mound.
This is another one where I think it would be good to just throw a mid-range up the middle. You can play aggressive and throw a driver and try to get there, but if you have a super straight drive, but I think just throwing a mid-range up the middle is the safest route. Catrina pimps another backhand. It looks great. Oh, a little early.
A little short and left, but honestly it's an easy 3. So
this basket is up on a mound, so it's not necessarily an easy 3, but because a lot can happen, but trust me, I know. This hole was mean to me in my final round.
Val changes disc right before she tees and goes to her surge and plays a hyzer layup shot in the middle.
Safe right in the middle.
So she's trying to dissect the hole into 2 and just almost guarantee the 3.
Super smart. This is a tough hole for a forehand. There's not really a friendly, workable line.
Yeah, I think Hokom was looking for that to flip up a little bit. Kind of just hyzered out. Seemed like she was looking for a flip.
That is a tough place to be. Yeah, that's really all you can do there.
Yeah, she kind of knew there was no saving a par for that from there.
Yeah, if this drive doesn't get off correctly, you're pretty much guaranteed a bogey, just like the other hole, the one right before it.
Catrina will get up and down.
Oof. Were you a little nervous there?
Nervous?
Yeah.
No. Why?
Well, just because if you miss, the airball go.
Oh, no, I'm not ever thinking about airballing.
Just those elevated baskets, man, they get me.
As long as you hit metal, you're good. It's a big basket.
Except for I got 2 spit outs on this hole and 1 rolled.
Hokom with another bogey. She's going to fall 4 strokes behind. So she may have knocked herself out of the race at this point. Unless something crazy happens. We'll see.
And after this, we have a nice long walk. We get to walk along the river next to the boat ramp. Look down, you can see people fishing. We saw a fly fisherman there the last round. And onto the second longest hole on the course.
I would say,
maybe
yeah.
the longest. This one parallels along the other long fairway that we saw on the first hole of the last hole of the front 9. This one is pretty much wide open the entire way. You don't really have much to contend with except for one big tree on the left side of the fairway.
You just want to get as far as you can on this hole so that your approach is a little bit more controlled and not necessarily
A distance driver?
Yeah, a rip. Because that green is pretty shallow. Once you get past the basket, there's a little dip and a bunch of trees, so.
It's shallow and it's pretty narrow too, the opening. About a circle's width, right?
Yeah.
And you do not want to go outside of that on either side because it's pretty thick underbrush, and you'll have a whole bunch of branches to contend with. A lot of times you won't even be able to get a putt.
I go with my Lucid Sheriff on this hole, just trying to get as much distance as possible. Anywhere in the short grass is good so that your run-up's not obstructed.
Pretty much all those shots, even though they seem to kind of be sprayed all over the place, they are all fine.
Sprayed.
They're all okay. They will all work.
But at this point, between Val and Catrina's, at least, they're trying to go shot for shot, and both of them are looking to get a 3 here if possible. Or a putt, at least a putt for 3. Val goes first, so could put the pressure on Catrina, but she hits a branch and kind of falls flat, so Kat's going to have the advantage. Believe that's her D1. Beautiful line.
Giving herself a look.
Yeah, she almost made the gap. She's a little on the right side and not quite into the gap.
There are some low branches hanging down out there. That'll make for a tough putt, but she gave herself a look.
It's my Lucid Convict.
Making it look easy. Oh no. Yeah, that's if you go a little bit too deep, it does get a little hairy down there, but it's still fairly open.
So Val knows Catrina at worst is getting a 4, so she had to put this close. Hokom's deadly with that yellow jokery, I'm telling you. Backhand, forehand. Everywhere. Oh.
That was just such a good run.
No harm, no foul there for Catrina. That would have helped her for sure, but it definitely didn't hurt her, so.
Nice putt.
Thank you. That was one of the weirdest lies I've ever had. It was like inside that dead log, and I had to put my foot like backwards.
Yeah, once you get down into that little ditch, there's a lot of weird stuff going on. It's almost like they put a bunch of the fallen logs down there.
So we are on to hole 14.
Heading up the hill?
Could be birdieable, but it can definitely also be bogeyable. We're back on hole 14. Thanks again to Dynamic Disc for sponsoring this footage and for sponsoring me.
And for the PDGA for doing the same and quote unquote sponsoring all of us. I don't know.
What did you put quotes on?
I don't know.
Like Madison said, this is an elevated tee. It was slick. I put a towel down here as well.
It was definitely slippery.
So slippery up there. Lucid Convict again. It was a little nose up, so it kind of hyzered out a little bit too much. That's the only danger is if you go deep on this hole. There's a river running behind it, or OB danger.
Yeah.
There's lots of danger.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's slippery and you're running at a cliff.
Yeah.
It's also you don't want to go too high because if you hyzer out early, you land in that big tree that Catrina's in, and if you hyzer out past that tree, there is just a ton of shoal over there that you don't want to be in.
Yeah, and for Val and Kat, any stroke is very important. So
wow, they both ended up in that tree.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
They both ended up in that, so they're still going shot for shot. I mean, if one of them can capitalize on one shot here, it's going to start paying off. So
the forehand route's definitely good here. If you hit that big tree on the right, you still have a look for 3. So you can't really error too bad on the forehand.
Catrina with a sidearm turnover.
Nice
Wow.
shot.
Beautiful.
She must have stayed right in the edge. If you go too deep in, there's nothing.
Sarah tries to get as much as she can, but kind of hits the ground too quick and stops her forward progress.
She was up against that tree
Yeah.
pretty tight.
So she'll be looking at a bogey unless she hits that 95-footer or so. Val with a beautiful shot through the gap. And her and Kat are still going shot for shot, both under the basket.
Hokom battling with a bogey, again with that yellow jokery, making it look easy.
I didn't have a whole lot. I just had to try to punch it through there.
Yeah, that's an interesting lie. I've never seen anyone there. And now another interesting lie.
My first sidearm putt-eye attempt.
Oh, look at that. Must have been watching some of my videos.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Deputies, they just go in for me. Most of the time.
Sidearm knee putt, that's awesome. I like Hokom's little polite putt.
Hokom with another bogey. I'm sure she's not super stoked on how the way this round's kind of, starting to go. But there is still 4 holes left, so you never really know.
Yeah, anything can happen out there. High scores can happen on almost any hole.
Yep. Hole 15 now. This is my favorite hole on the property. There's two very fair gaps. Right side is good for a hyzer flip up, and the left side's great for a sidearm or anhyzer. I go the hyzer route with my bio enforcer. Kind of late released it, so not looking at a 2, but the 3 should be pretty easy.
I personally prefer the forehand route. Even if I was only throwing backhands, I think I would still go that route. I can't quite figure out this backhand gap. It's tough and low ceiling and uphill. It's a little daunting. Looks like Val's going to take the Annie route. If you get down past that big tree, which you can't really see in the video, but there's a really easy gap where you have about a 60-foot pitch up to get a tap-in 3. It's not really twoable from this direction though. You could hit a big jump putt, but there's not really a way to get a 2 look on that gap.
Catrina, it looks like that came out a little bit early and she left herself in the woods over there. Me and her can't see Val's shot from here, but like Mad said, it's pretty routine from that side, so
yeah. Kat's
looking at probably losing a stroke here if Val can capitalize on this drive.
You can see it's pretty wide open right there. There's not a lot of places to error over there, whereas I think on the hyzer side, there's a whole bunch of trouble you can get in. Hokom had a pretty straightforward shot too. But if you're looking for the 2, the hyzer gap is definitely the way to go. You have a much larger probability.
Oh, it looks like they missed one of Kat's shots, but she, no. She pitched out to there and missed it. I'm not entirely sure what was going on there, but that double bogey is not what she was looking for.
Like I said, any hole you could get a high score on. It happens so fast. There's so much trouble to get in out here.
Especially when you're a little aggravated too. Strokes start flying off when you start rushing things. So it's going to cost Kat 2 strokes here, and
Val kind of slides into a second.
Yeah, with 3 holes to go.
The 2 out of the remaining 3 holes are fairly straightforward, so it was definitely clutch to get a 3 on that last hole.
This one is definitely, you want to have a putt for 2 on this one. It's
a real short little backhand hyzer or forehand turnover. It's a real guarded entryway into the green. There's lots of fairway trees. It's kind of a poke and hope situation again, but if you can get it to skip right before the gap, you can slide up in there really easily.
Have you ever heard of Hokom poke?
No.
She made that up.
That sounds like something she would make up.
It's pretty good.
Even if you hit that tree out on the right-hand side, you'll still have a pretty easy up and down for 3.
Let's see if Hokom can poke one in there.
Oh, look at her throwing backhand. Even I threw a forehand on this hole. Nice. Look at that with the putt.
Nice high hyzer into the gap, and she's looking at a 25 footer.
Lots of obstructed putts on the screen as well, no surprise.
Kat's going to need a birdie here if she wants to get any strokes back.
Oh no, came in a little early. This is a fun green to be in. It's covered and almost feels like you're in a little nook. There's all kinds of stuff you have to straddle around and over the top of.
Kat's looking for this to fall.
Woo! That was
And
a good look.
just short. That was a great attempt, knowing that Val was getting a 3, so she kind of had to run it.
Yeah, love that. Backhand birdie, baby.
Hokom gets the solo bird, well, for now. Forgot I tooed it.
Oh, I just forgot about my birdies.
Well, Hokom gets a 2 and gets one back on Catrina and Val, but she's kind of running out of time here.
Yep. Kind of running out of birdie holes. And bogey holes.
You can see how much time Val took on just that 12-footer. It's when nerves start coming into play, coming down the stretch, and every shot matters. It's very important to keep that in mind.
Shows a lot of experience to be patient, take your time, stick with your routine, even on the little shorties.
Hole 17, another low ceiling. Pretty straightforward, dead straight.
Not a lot of trouble you can get into here.
Just high.
Yep, just running into the branches. And if you drop down, it's still a pretty easy up and down. Very easy.
You do not want to flip your wrist over
Is
and
Kat
end
going
up
to
on
throw
the
another roller here?
I mean,
Seems like this would be kind of a fun roller hole, right?
she actually did last year, I believe, but no, she does not throw roller on this hole.
The tall grass is a little out of control this year.
Yeah, they shaped the fairways, but they left some tall grass early on in the flight, so it kind of takes the roller out of play.
Wow, Val's release point's just so consistent.
So consistent. And that's her thrasher again.
She's
feels
doing the same like hyzer flip.
Yep. She feels definitely confident with that disc in her hand, I can tell.
Yeah, she throws the same shot on almost every hole and it works perfectly.
Katrina with her D1 again. She's throwing this disc so well.
Crushed
Nice
it.
hyzer
Pin
flip
high.
blinds all day.
This hole's a what, about 375, 380?
381.
That's awesome. Oh, that's at the bottom. That's a mash. Controlled mash. Oh, we're going for another forehand putt, huh?
Putt? No. And Val and Kat are in the battle of putting, long putts on this hole. Kat may be inside the circle.
Ooh, she went real aggressive. And she needed it though.
Yeah.
So it's good to see her going for it.
That's one of those putts where you kind of tell yourself, I have to make this, and then your mental game takes over, and
Does that ever get any easier? Geez. I haven't spent a lot of time in the hunt, so I can't really speak from experience, but it seems like that would be a hard thing to get the hang of.
definitely. It's always different, so. And they both take threes. We all take threes.
Boring. Just kidding.
And we're on to one hole left, so really, unless one of the three of them gets a double bogey or worse, the position's gonna stay the same.
Which it is out here. This hole is definitely bogeyable. There's a lot of trouble. If you don't try to be too aggressive, if you get into trouble and don't try to be too aggressive, it's easy to recover and take your bogey instead of a double bogey. But if you try to get crazy and aggressive and throw over the trees, which I doubt we'll see from these ladies, you can easily end up with a 5.
Yeah, this hole isn't birdieable for us girls, so no one's going to 2 it. So just knowing that, just think, okay, I need to get a 4 or better to stay in the position I'm in.
Well, you want to put it as far as you can, and left is better than right. So
Absolutely.
hug the left side of the fairway, hyzer out, finish a hyzer out, and you'll have an easy, or a little bit of a simple look. I wouldn't say easy. Hokom's going to be a little short. She's going to have to do kind of probably a blind forehand hyzer around the trees, which she's very capable of. Val crashing left. She a little short? I couldn't tell.
She was, yeah, she's quite a bit short, but I don't think it's anywhere.
Cat going for the roller, love it. She's going for the 2, huh?
She's going to do everything she can, yeah.
Wow, that was a great...
Yeah, it was
a great
perfect distance. Maybe a little bit flippier of a disc would have continued trekking to the right, but
would have
amazing
flipped
shot.
over faster. I mean, that was literally about as good as it gets right there. That was awesome.
And she knows she's going to have to go for this, but luckily she gets to see what Val does first. Looks like she's grabbing her Z Meteor.
Going over the top. Make it look easy. That is not an easy shot.
She gets herself just outside the circle, I would say. But she has to depend on Val getting up and down for there. So she knows she has to run this putt/up shot. She's about to line up.
So awesome that she gave herself a look at 2 on this hole. That's unbelievable. Oh, you did too, kinda.
And will it go in?
Oh,
oof! Great height. Great height.
It's kind of cool to see in tournament play someone being able to throw an aggressive putt like that. It's pretty awesome. She feels comfortable enough. Like I said, this hole is definitely bogeyable. Sad to see Val finish out with the bogue, but strong enough finish to hold on to second place.
Yep. Hokom's putt was about as close as you can get. She hit chain, she hit the rim, she hit the band, she hit everything. all in the same putt. Yeah. Didn't stay.
And Paige with the victory. Finally, right? Your first Beaver, huh?
First Beaver State Fling victory.
That's awesome. And it was not an easy one. It was a muddy, rainy, cold one.
So cold. Wore a beanie like 80% of the tournament. That was weird. And Hokom with another bogey, but she
What was on her disc?
I'm not sure. I didn't see any of that. She will hold on to 4th. So these are 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th respectively. And yeah, that closes it out for the Beaver State Fling.
Yep. It was a tough run, but it was as beautiful as we always have it at Milo.
Thank you guys again for joining in and watching. And this amazing footage brought to you by Jomez Crew.
Thank you for dealing with our bad jokes and aimless commentary. Thank you to PDGA and Dynamic Disc for making this possible.
And we'll see you next time, hopefully. Comment if you like our commentary and tell Jomez you want us back.
And stay tuned for a short video after the credits. Hey guys, we're back.
My name is Paige Pierce.
And I'm Madison Walker. We are on the road, so excuse the mess in the back of the car, but...
Tour life.
But Jomez came up with the idea that we would do a giveaway for anyone that left a comment in the YouTube comment section. We're so thankful for what they did, and we're thankful for you guys for watching the ladies' coverage. So leave us a comment.
And you're entered for a chance to win. We got a Paige Pierce signature convict.
Ooh. A Whale Sax Mini.
Swirly.
Couple of sweet sponsor stickers. A Hand-Eye Supply
waterproof phone bag for your rain rounds, like we had at Beaver State.
And a signature Madison Walker whale shark, whale sack. There's sharks all over it. Leave a comment. We're going to do a random draw.
And thanks again for watching. Thanks to Jomez, the PDJ, and Dynamic Disc for sponsoring the coverage. Thanks for watching, y'all.